All right, are we ready, guys? Happy New Year. NFL playoff season's here. If you're going to come to the office on Fridays, Chiefs red. All right? Don't let us down. It'll be, if they can make it, it'll be at a neutral site, and then we'll bring some tissue paper for you. We're going to do a quick video kicking off 2023 that Aaron picked out for us. So let's kick this thing off, guys. 2023 is here, and we hope you are ready. What I like you to do, Buffalo Bills fans. You've been working toward that dream. But here's what I know. That dream that you're holding in your mouth.
You say make a resolution to be a better person now. Discipline to get better, smarter, faster, stronger, healthier, more productive, less ad. Resolution, discipline, to work and follow through, and maintain.
Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test with 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil in these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. Be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams.
Say, I can do that. But what we can say, that it's possible that I can have my dream as we run toward it. Understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. Of working on your dreams, you are incurring a lot of disappointment, a lot of pain, a lot of pain, setbacks, a lot of defeats. But in the process of doing that, you will discover something about yourself that you don't know right now. What you will realize is that you have greatness within you.
I'm able to visualize and dream like nobody's business. And I know that I can create a vision that many people can't. And I work for it. So the vision I had was when Apollo Creed beat the shit out of him, he kept fighting. He was a dumb fighter, couldn't read, couldn't write, just punchy, everything about him. Him getting up, Apollo Creed raises his arms in the air, turn around like motherfucker. He turns around and sees this guy getting up. And it was the face of Apollo Creed that changed my life. I said, this book is going to keep coming after whatever is in front of me. I wanted that. So kept picturing me falling down and getting up. I wanted to feel something besides the people.
If you want to make your dream become reality, the people that are
your time, your peace, and it's all of the training that speed is about. And a lot of seem useless at work, it's without it. And if you sweat for it, fret for it, plan for it, and you just have your terror of the opposition for it. If you need a call, it's a pain of heart and brain. But you'll get it.
This is the time of year, right? We all make resolutions. I like the one, be a better person. I got light in the back somewhere. Thank you, thank you. So hopefully I've got to lose some weight and you guys got to hold me to it. My God. When those candy bars come into my mouth, just rip them out. But you know, and resolutions are just not business, right? In your personal life, I love that. Be a better person. I had a conversation last night that was interesting to me. I was on a webinar from about 5 to 6:30, looking at a specialty pharmaceutical company, and I had on the call a good friend of mine, Neil Hawks. His dad, Howard, is the founder of Tenaska, and Neil actually has COVID, so he put his wife Jamie on the phone, and Jamie's sister is married to Mark Cuban. And so we got off the call and I was talking to Jamie afterwards. And I said, what's your thoughts? She says, I love what they're doing because they're talking about some heart medicine and pain medicine and some stuff that they're developing that were intriguing to us. And I've looked at a couple of these pharmaceutical things because I love the concept of they're doing things that are helping people live better and longer and healing things. And she said, the only thing that scares me is that Mark Cuban, if any of you have heard this before, he says, you know, his goal and what he wants his legacy to be when he is gone is to disrupt the pharmaceutical company. And she says, one of the things he's already done is he's took a cancer treating, I don't know if it was shot or prescription or something that cost $5,000 a month. And he's buying it and he's got it down to like $76 a month. And that is his goal in life. She said, when he's gone, it has nothing to, he doesn't care if there's a legacy, if anybody knowing he owned the Mavericks or was a billionaire. He wants his legacy to be that he changed this world in a way. And she says, I want to talk to Mark before we invest in this company, Vince, because I want to make sure that what he's doing is not disruptive to that. And I said, I don't think it is because these guys are R&D. They're developing things to take to market. And then he's not a developer. He's taking those things and then trying to make them cost effective for everybody, which is really cool. Now that's a major, right? And she says, when he puts his mind to something, I'm not sure this is a good thing. She says at Thanksgiving, at Christmas, he's on his phone, he's working, he's a workaholic, that's his love, his passion. So maybe he should spend some more time with his family and people like that. But she's like, I would never bet against him. But this is the time of year that we all seem to do it, right? We make resolutions to improve in some manner, some way, but have a dream. There's nothing too big in any of our lives for us to conquer if we really set our mind to it, right? Coaches always say, I mean, I've heard people say that it's your mindset, it's your God-given talent, and it's coaching. But coaching, and different people have different numbers on this, but they're all in the same area. The God-given talent you have and the coaching you do will make up maybe 30, 40% of you being successful. It is your mindset. It is how you wire yourself to create habits to make sure that you want to go after things that will determine at the end of the day how successful you'll be at any endeavor that you have. So that's where you got to start. And we always talk about starting with morning routines, right? Get up, put yourself in the right mind in the morning, because if you do that, there's proof you're going to have a more successful day. You're going to have a happier day as you move forward. So I wrote this down. Look at my shoes. Shannon bought these for me. They're very happy. Gina said, she's already said 3 times something about my shoes. She says, Vince, you're wearing, I want this as a quote somewhere. I think we should put this one. Normal human shoes. Is that an insult, Scott? I think in some backwards way, she's saying, You don't wear normal human shoes other times. I said, text Shannon and tell her that. I think she'll be very happy for that. So I have Shannon's outfit on today. So she was happy. She actually leaned out of bed. She said, I really like those shoes. So lots going on. Carrie's gonna come up here in a second, talk about a couple of things. With convention and then the awards breakfast we got going on, but the awards breakfast, please mark this out at Westview, where we have the Christmas party, March 7th. Breakfast starts at 8:30. And the celebration starts at 9 o'clock. We want to make it crazy high energy. We want to really get us focused. Guys, I love seeing those of you here today because we know that there's difficulties going on in the real estate market, in the economy, and the market's been off 30 to 40% the last quarter. But this thing will turn around and there is business being done. And let's just make sure that we're getting more than our fair share of business. Who watched Rocking in the New Year last week? We continue to try to get these things, and we have the Connect series that we're going to do a better job of promoting this year. I'm going to have Jay come up here in a second and talk about some things that Alan Dalton and Andrew Undum have worked on putting together. There's tons of resources, and I want you guys to use these resources, but I also warn you in using those resources. Sometimes we become overwhelmed when we go to a convention or we start looking at things. We have so many sources. We talk about this on CRM systems, like just figure out the simple parts of the CRM system that'll help you be more productive, right? If you try to embrace all of it, it becomes overwhelming. You usually accomplish nothing. So we've got tons of resources, but I want you to dive into one at a time and pick something, keep pulling things out of there to do things. So Carrie, I'm gonna start with you. Then Jay, you've got a lot for us to dive into. Can you give us any updates on the awards breakfast, but then really convention, the dates, where we're gonna be, kind of, you've done this for years and years, the whole layout.
Yeah, sure. So I just want to take a step back first and say thanks to everybody for helping us get all of your 2022 numbers confirmed. We've been working hard the last couple weeks to try to stay ahead of the game. The deadlines for getting everything reported and closed out fall so quickly in January. And so thanks for your help with that. It's all tied into convention and all kind of flows together, awards breakfast, all of it. So sales conventions in Vegas, March 26th through the 28th. And it's at the Caesars Forum. It's a new convention center that opened, I think, 2 years ago during COVID. And it's behind, if you're familiar with Vegas, it's behind the High Roller and where like Harrah's and Flamingo, that side of the strip. So it's not Caesar's Palace. There's been some confusion, not Caesar's Palace, but across the street. We have 120 people signed up. There's been a few people that have said something came up and they can't go. I have about five registrations available. So if you've been on the fence and are not signed up, please reach out and let me know. We have a group hotel block at Harrah's, which is the closest hotel to the convention center. There's a walkway that connects to the convention center. So easy walking. Unfortunately, I'm told they don't have the best pool in Vegas, but that's not why we're going. So it's probably a good thing. What else do we want to talk about? The agenda for convention is kind of a Sunday night as a networking reception.
Which is a great time for us to all get together and have some drinks.
Yeah. So from 4 to 7, they have a vendor showcase. You can go walk through and say hi to everybody and get some freebies from the vendors. And then we do a probably 7 to 9, 7:30 to 9:30. We'll pick a fun place to gather, have some appetizers and cocktails.
Did we get that same place we did last time? That was that upstairs Mexican place?
I don't know that we have anything booked yet,
Okay.
but
Okay,
It
I
is
thought we
done?
talked about
Oh.
that. Okay, good.
Okay.
That was a fun place. Yeah.
Chayo. Yeah, Chayo.
Thank you, Katie.
Yeah. 7 to 10. All right, there we go. And then Monday morning will be general session starts 9 o'clock. And it goes 2 hours and it's awards and motivational speakers and conversations about the network trends and things that are happening within the network. And then it breaks out for a bunch of different classes throughout the day, university sessions. I think there are 3 sessions that
Every
afternoon.
yep.
And then kind of same thing Tuesday morning with a general session, a motivational speaker and some more awards and things like that, more classes. And then Tuesday night, we have a concert. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Monday night, there's going to be a big party. We don't know exactly what they're doing, but they always do something special. In the past, we've gone to places like the Cowboys Stadium, or we get tours of, they always put on a really good party for us with some drinks. We went to Churchill Downs in
Kentucky.
Louisville.
Yeah.
Never said that right. And then, so Tuesday night is our concert that benefits Sunshine Kids, and it's a One Republic concert. So if you're a One Republic fan like me, you got to join us. So hopefully if you're not signed up, you let me know. I only have a couple of tickets left, so.
And then rooms, they need to get rooms too if they don't have rooms.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But it's Vegas, so there's room everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Did you get care fund numbers?
Not yet. They're on the way.
Okay, so I want to bring up the care fund. We're gonna get some numbers, but we handed out, I know it was over $100,000 last year to numerous agents going through things. So please, 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 if you hear of anybody that's going through, you know, sicknesses or cancers or bad wrecks or things in their life, you know, other than just not, this is not for people just not doing business. Sorry. That's not the purpose of this, but shits went wrong. Okay. If shits went wrong in some people's lives, and some people keep that private, share that with us, please. We want to be here to do this. And so it's really I look at Rich, he probably start crying. Rich is on the committee, and there's a committee of 9. And you know, we really want to help people that are going through things. So if you know of anybody in our organization that's going through some stuff where they've just had some bad breaks on things, please let us know so we can look at that and get that out to them. But Rich is always the guy that gives the highest dollar number. So you want Rich to show up the committee if you've got somebody you've submitted, because he's gonna give us the biggest number. So we did so last year, and this is the $5 checks you guys have, okay? That the company matches dollar for dollar. And so anybody that someone would look at me and say, hey, you know, how can you make that mandatory? For me, it was very easy because they started before I sold the company, and we were matching this dollar for dollar. So if the company was giving $40,000, if the agents were giving combined $40,000 throughout the year, we were giving $40,000 when we owned the company, and we continue to do that today. But $149,500 we gave out through the care fund to our agents last year to help them. That's a substantial amount of money, guys. And it's been over 100,000, I think 3 years running now. And that was to 45, I think that said 40, I lost it somewhere in here. 45 different people we've helped. So please, please get something to Carrie. She's our liaison. We have signed, just so you know, there is confidentiality agreement signed. So when something comes to us, we keep that confident. We don't disclose that to anybody else. We're there to help you. And the intent of this, for any of you that have not been around for 7, 8 years since we started this, was really, you know, we go out and help the Open Door Mission and the Sunshine Kids, and we do things for others outside of our organization. But we're like, okay, things go wrong for people in our organization. Why are we not doing something internally to help them also? So that was kind of what this was born out of. So please, please reach out to us if you can. Bagels and donuts back there, so grab them when you leave or during the meeting if you get bored of Jay or somebody. We're going to go back, you know, to trying to get in, working around my schedule, I guess. We want to get in sales meeting twice a year. Twice a month. Twice a year is a lot better for me. This getting old is no damn good, Daryl. I can't remember shit. If Brian is here, he'd be ripping me apart. Twice a month, yes, twice a month. We find value in getting us together. We're going to really, as a management team, as a leadership team, encourage, you guys are the ones, I'm preaching to the wrong people right here today because you're here, but I'm going to really press our managers to really make calls prior to these meetings to get people in here. I think the energy, the collaboration, the idea sharing that is created with us coming here is good for all of us. When you talk about positive mindset, I think coming to these type of things and just chatting with each other, right? There's always something you can pick up from each other and makes you feel better. So we're going to get back to that. Convention's good. Care fund's done. So real quick, Jay, before I get you on, who do I have back there? Rick, I can't see you, but I hope you're, okay, you're back there. Can you run for us, did you get the new logo from Maggie? So we've got a new logo, Prudential, Berkshire Hathaway's been working on this. Oh my. I see that, I can't breathe, right, without sandals on. I'm being suffocated through my feet. This shit's not good. The new logo, it's going on Resource Center. I think the 10th is, what's today? 10th. So I think it's going on today. We can start ordering things with it on it. So it's kind of a more modern, newer look. So we'll get all of this out to you guys sooner or later. So if you're ordering new business cards or marketing things or something like that, and you want this new logo on to do that, we're not going to get rid of the old signs, but they seem to get rid of themselves. So over time, we'll continue to order the new signs and we'll replace the old signs. So, you know, it's a different, cleaner look that it'd be something a little bit more refreshing. So I think that's a good question. I don't know. Do you have any idea? Just act like you do. Yeah. It's a forever logo. Because we're a forever brand. Yes. I do not know. We'll find out. So we'll get this out to you. We'll send this out to you today. So the old ones are being taken down today and the new ones will be put up on January 31st. But if you need to get something, get to us and we'll start getting those marketing materials ordered for you. So Mr. J, can you come up here and walk through a number of things? Can you start maybe with Ninja and what we're looking there? I know you've had a number of emails going out and talking to people on that. I hope it's not suffocating your brain.
But he's trying to lose weight, make me look good up there.
Yes, that is true. Stand next to me if you want to look skinny.
Well, all right, Ninja. So I sent out a lot of emails on that. So in order for us to bring it here, we need 50 people and the cost would be $800 per person, includes breakfast and lunch. But and it's 4 full days. So it go Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5. And what they do is they'll fly in a Ninja instructor, and then that includes course material. So right now we're about 22, 23 people that are interested in it. So I guess this is just going to be kind of one last push over the next week or so to see if there's any other interest, because if not, then we'll probably just have to push it until end of the year or beginning of next year. They were too packed since we just had gotten the request. They couldn't get anything in January, February. The soonest was April. So really, if you haven't read the Ninja book, it's relationship selling and great program. So I guess
Who in here has went to a Ninja before? Any input?
good.
It's good. In the words of an attorney, it's good.
All you need to know.
How much more excited can you get than that? Anyone else went to Ninja that has any input? Very relational. A lot like I've met Larry before, a lot like Buffini in some ways, right? But it's an intense 4 days. Anyone else have any input on that?
I don't know if Joe Ellen's here.
Joe Ellen just went to Colorado
Yeah.
a month or so ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she really loved it. And she was always a Buffiniite.
I guess you guys have any questions while I'm here? I mean. Right. We'll go.
Is
from
it better than
22 to
Unstoppable?
20. Yeah, it's better than Unstoppable.
It's better than Unstoppable.
I'm not the one teaching it, so it'll be better. All right. Well, that was the Ninja. So
Then you want to kind of walk through what we're doing in all of our marketing, in our masterminds. We've just started and we've got more of them to come. Is we're asking, and I've done this nationally with the Rethink Council, and we find this to be one of the most productive, if not the most productive thing, is we're asking people in the masterminds to take this serious and please bring with you a marketing piece that you're using to help you brand yourself, to help promote your business, to help grow. And so Jay's going to run through right now just a couple of the first ideas that we've got off these things that are some creative ideas that we want you to think about. How can you incorporate some of these things into your business to attract people?
okay, I'll start off. Well, Sandy Davis, I think she's here.
Yes.
So she is one of the most creative. If we could put that image of that, the deck of cards, Rick, there we go. Rich. All right. So what she has is she has a business card on the back of this also, just because she couldn't get all the branding on the front because they're limited. So she has her business card on the back. Then she creates a clever tagline. So what that reads up there is, do you have a full house?
Obviously, I don't.
Are you getting lost in a shuffle with upsizing or downsizing? I just sold your neighbor's home, insert address, and with my concierge services, you will follow suit and
You can.
I did not type this out. Well, play your cards right, call Sandy. So we'll send this out so you can actually read it. I wrote it wrong. She also modifies the verbiage depending on the audience. She's used this for poker events, school events, golf events, pop buys, even Valentine gifts where she says, you know, if you play your cards right. And then she said she thought she paid about $20 for about a dozen of them. And so all the logo is just the branding on this, the front. It's not any of the cards in the inside. So that was one of them. The other idea that Sandy had brought to us, and we'd never thought about it, was you can get your logo on a Starbucks card. So a lot of people give out those $5 Starbucks. And Vince brought up a good point. You know, you look at all these cards that you might have for gift cards, but you never know who you got them from. So I did go to starbucks.com. We thought maybe it was going to be free, but it's about, depending on how many you buy, it can be anywhere from $2 to 50 cents a card to get your logo on there.
Sandy, how many do you buy at a time? That's what I thought you
Yeah.
said. Got it.
Yep. And then we were told that like Texas Roadhouse, so there's probably got to be lots of different services that offer that.
Right.
So we thought that was a great idea. I didn't bring the keychain. I even got it from Mike, so I forgot to do this.
Mike, you have one on you? Did you drive here today?
Yep. So what Mike Bjork has, he uses, and thanks Sandy for both those ideas. I saw you where you at. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Sandy.
So there's a QR code on the back of this.
So on Mike, yeah, so what he does is he gives that out, and then if they have an event, they'll send an email so to their clients, and they can go ahead and scan that QR
Whoa.
code. Oh, yeah, and the fob's broken.
Just like volleyball.
Yeah. So when you scan it, it goes to their website, or they can use it to do different events. So they use a company called Flow Code, which is just it's a dynamic QR code. So they can go ahead and change the direction or where the URL goes, depending on what they're trying to do for with their business and what events they want to promote, things like that.
So Mike, you're promoting like client appreciation parties on there. It can go to your website. It can go, you can switch that up all the time, the same QR code. So that's, I mean, that was what was really intriguing and cool to me. It's just not one thing that you're putting on there that it goes to your website every single time, right? Get an ice cream cone, get a pie, get something like that, and it's just all through that QR code.
Yep, and then he does landing pages as well, which he creates in Canva. And so, and then they purchased all the keychains through Ideal Images. So when I'll get this, I'll send pictures to Gina so you guys can see what the keychain looks like. Another one was brought up yesterday in a mastermind, Kate Riekert.
Would you want me to put that on you?
What? No, go ahead, put it on yourself. You're older, you're gonna need it soon.
If you want to be abused, get married and run a brokerage company.
So Kate's been doing that with, so she
Helps her
said
out.
like last year she had 5 clients that had babies. And so it was just a bib that she had created by Etsy. She said she chose to get one that was printed and not embroidered because she said kids get messy. So, but she's had really great response for the people she's given it out to last year. All right. Another one with Kit Plum, which we've talked to Maggie about this. So a lot of people do calendars. One of the unique things too, which I hadn't seen, was it's a calendar made especially for each client. So if your last name's Smith, every page on this is going to say Smith incorporated in the design, or Brown or Lacey. So we can pass this around, but yeah, on here it just says Plum. And then on the bottom part here, it advertises all your information, but I'll just run this run as well.
So yeah, so I mean, if you're sending out to 100 clients, it's going to have, this top page is going to be different every time saying their name on it. And she said it's been amazing. And then you're promoting yourself on the bottom. And I think she said they're about $8 a piece, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken.
But we're gonna work on a. bulk
So each one
discount
of them
for it.
for a different season, right? Whether it's snowflakes or flowers or something like that. And it does that. So pass that around. But I thought that was really creative because everyone does, not everyone, but you have tons of people doing calendars. And here's a twist on that, that she said the response she gets is extremely overwhelmingly positive.
Another one that was brought up yesterday too, if anybody isn't working with ATS with their Ambassador Agent One app, they've got tons of great content on there. So one of the ones that they just came out with for January was, what does today look like versus 2008? Some market statistics. They talk about what job cuts look like, total jobs, subprime loans, new construction, inventory on the market, mortgage delinquency, homes in foreclosure, and it just compares it now to back to 2000.
And it's totally different.
Correct. And so it's just a nice visual. So it's a good reminder though, that if you have the Ambassador One Agent app, that go in there, tons of resources that you can look at. There was a couple of different flyers that they had promoted. And then the last, if we could put up those things from the marketing department, there we go. So this, Maggie sent over different postcards people were doing. I didn't have a chance to look at all of them, but there's a lot of agents that are doing more marketing than they ever have. And a lot of them, what they're doing too is instead of doing once a month, they're doing maybe every other week. So this year was squarely wishing nothing but good times in 2023.
That may only work for Nico guys. I'm not sure that's gonna work for everybody.
And Sheila, I think this is yours, isn't it? The 2023.
Says Sheila on it.
Oh, it says Sheila. Yeah. I'm not observant. I just, yeah.
See what those shoes are doing to
I know, yeah, I know. They're squeezing my brain. too. The clutter checklist. Let's just go through them. I don't know what's all on them. Or is that it? Okay, well, those are some of the creative ones, but I guess yesterday too, it reminds me, if you're not taking advantage of our marketing department, it was Lindsay Golden that had some really cool marketing stuff, and people were like, where'd you get it? Where'd you get it? And it was always our marketing department that designed it. She had a $1.9 million listing that she had like a 10-page, really nice booklet on the property, and everything was designed by our marketing department, and she uses them every year. So take advantage of that as well.
She had it, and I know we've talked about in the past 6-7 years ago. I want to say even the Briley team maybe still do, like it's a video book for like
Oh,
a listing
that's right.
presentation or to
That's right.
hand out to clients. Has anyone seen those? Like you can open those up and you create different videos on those to hand those out for different purposes. Which, yeah, they can get expensive. If you buy them in bulk, you can get the prices down. But if you have a special property or, but to me to hand out on a listing presentation, I thought it was kind of as a pre-listing thing was kind of always a cool concept.
Yeah, and I'll put that, we'll get a copy. I wonder if they still sell them in them, and then we can put them in the.
I'll find out. One last thing that pops into my head as we're talking about this is one is the purpose is for you to hopefully pick up an idea, but two is as we get you in a mastermind group, we want you to please bring and share materials that you're doing. And it's been materials of here's handouts I'm sending to my neighborhood and other things too, right? It can be anything, but the idea sharing is what should help all of us become better in this process. Is that Rethink years ago, and I think Megan Owens actually piggybacked on that here in Omaha, is we had a lady in Philadelphia that had a specialty, that a really popular downtown Philly coffee shop that just didn't have, they had the cup holders. I don't drink coffee. I don't know what you call those things, but they were just brown. And she's like, how about if I put on my side, I'll buy all of those for you. Let's put your logo on one side and let's put my logo on the other side and just put those on all the coffees. And they're like, sure. They're like, we've been paying for them. We don't have our logo on there. Now we're getting our logo on them. Someone's paying for them. And she went there all the time. So, there's different types of places I think you can go and create those type of things where you can brand yourself and just pay for something, which actually becomes very cheap advertising for you. So it's again, as they said in the video, let's think outside of the box, right? We need to start thinking from a broader perspective than we have before. The last thing we're going to kick into is we're going to play one example. Alan Dalton has been working with Andrew Undum, putting together a number of teasers about all of the tools that we have in the resource centers. They put tons of videos together over the last year. So we're going to play a couple of those and I'm going to let Jay then talk about where we're going to disperse these probably one a week over the next 2 months. And then we'll reference the resource center thereafter. So can you play, do we have those? Well, let's play one then. Well, a couple, one is close to two. I think we decided the second one was too long. Best Alan's ever sounded.
We all continually hear real estate professionals reference the word social media. As in, I'm very active in my business with social media, or I need to do more on social media or with social media. But is what you are referring to as social media, really social media? Or might it be social networking? Or should you be doing more social media marketing? Now, anytime such refined distinctions are employed, it seems as though the fallback position among some in the industry is to, rather than try to fully appreciate such distinction, is to instead evoke the word semantics. Oh, come on, this is just a matter of semantics. What's the difference? And why is it really important? Social network is about acquiring and sustaining friends, which is why Facebook chose that transcendent word. Indeed, you need to constantly be doing social networks, but social networking is not social media. And it's not enough for success-oriented real estate professionals to be doing. Social media is about bringing media or content to such platforms. For example, when a news outlet posts online, it's not social network, it is social media. Yet the news media might never be able to create relationships without a strong social networking presence. And even if one is involved in both social networking activities and also creating social media content, they still need to do more in the form of social media marketing. Social media marketing goes back to the definition of marketing itself. That is the meeting of unmet needs in the marketplace. That would be downsizing, moving up, refinancing, home improvement, etc., versus just personal videos as an example. Then if one social networking, social media does not bring solution, then here again, success cannot be maximized. The Forever Agent movement offers a great amount of digitized content, specifically designed for social media marketing. Again, social networking is about making and keeping friends. Social media is about bringing content to digital platforms, and social media marketing is about making money. Yes, social networking, social media, and social media marketing all need to be understood separately in order to work as one integrated approach with distinctive expertise in planning involved. Thank you for your kind attention.
You understood it?
We all continually hear
Sometimes when you talk to Alan, he uses so many big words, you have no idea what the hell he's saying. A couple things before Jay, you come back up here is, we talked in a mastermind group yesterday, Andrew Undum. Did anybody watch, can I grab you, Jay, can you grab those lights in the back? Any of the videos that we came out of Explosion over the last 2 years? Heidi, we have those in Resource Center. Jay can tell you where they'll get those, or is it, I think it's BHS agents.
It's A and B agent tools.
A and B agents. I would highly recommend.
Good job.
Wow.
Nice.
Freaky fast. I would highly recommend, go back. Heidi Harris has done for us. We've recorded her twice now, but she's at Explosion. I would go back. Heidi's spectacular, right? At social media. Go watch that. Jay will tell you where it's at. Andrew Undum, I continue to say, is probably the best spoken agent I've ever heard in presenting things. He's got a video, and then there's a third one. We have a mastermind group. They were going to go back and watch Mark Starks from 2 years ago and Andrew Undum. But if there's 3 videos I would go watch Heidi Harris. Her stuff is still relevant. Andrew Undum, from both those from Explosion, and 2 years ago, Mark Stark. Andrew Undum says that he believes the best spoken real estate person he's ever heard in his life is Mark Stark. And I thought what Mark's presentation a couple of years ago was absolutely spectacular. Go look at some of those. We've got a whole library from the last couple of years of Explosion of these type of people speaking, talking about things. So walk about what we're gonna do with here in the resource centers with Alan, and we'll roll these out here over the next month.
Sure.
Or two.
Again, any of these explosion videos, anything just that Shelley does, any of these recorded classes, you just go to ambagentTools.com. It's a dynamic search, so you can just search at the top and type in Mark's, and the video will pull up, so you guys can click on that. So any of those that you're finding with Heidi, Mark, or Andrew should be easy to find. If you can't get logged in or you have any trouble, just let me know and I'll help you.
How about this? Can we send, how about once a week, Aaron or Gina, once a week, over the next week, we'll send out a link from me to you guys saying, hey, here's Andrew's video. Spend 45 minutes watching this. Here's Mark's video. So we'll trickle those out to you guys over the next month. Will you, some of you spend some time looking at those? Because I promise you they're going to give you some ideas. Well, we're going to do that even if you don't. Okay. All right. So we'll get the link to them. Anything you want to add to that or anything on this?
The only other thing would be when he's talking about all this in the training, like at the end, when he's talking about moving up, moving down, dog owners, things like that, there's the lifestyle planning guide that's in the resource center. So again, you just go to bhhsresource.com. When you log in, go under Learn Center, and there's a whole forever agent training. I think Mr. No and Mr. Do that Gino and Alan did. So everything that he'll be referencing in these videos that we'll be sending out, you can find everything in the Learn Center that will go through the whole forever agent training. They've even put a book out that I think a lot of people got during our Unstoppable, and some other people ordered that. If anybody is looking for a copy, I do have a few extra down in my office as well. So
Perfect.
outside of that.
That's great. Thank you. Scott, I know we got you coming up still. What comes to my mind is our job, we believe the burden that falls on us is to supply you guys with tools to help you, that you embrace, that helps you continue to grow, to take your business to the next level, right? I want to make sure you're doing something. Doing something is better than doing nothing, right? Waiting to get something perfect. We have people work on something and works on something and work on something, and to a point where they never accomplish anything, right? And so it always reminds me, and it's always been the philosophy of this company since I've heard this, and maybe even before, but I didn't know it, is when I went to Google, which was probably, oh my God, a dozen years ago now. It was right before Steve Jobs died. I don't know how long it was. So many of you heard this story, but Google, one of the heads is up there and talks about, he says, everyone thinks we hate Apple. He says, we don't hate Apple. We have actually the utmost respect for Apple. And the first moral of the story that came out of there is they said, because of Apple, we continue to push the envelope, to think out of the box and continue to improve. Competition is actually a good thing, right? It allows us to not become complacent. Competition is one of those things that forces us to continue to become better and improve how we do things. So I love that. But they said there's two fundamental differences between us and Apple. And the first one is that Apple would never do what we did. The second time I was there was 50 people in the room. We all signed confidentiality. People like, Apple doesn't bring people in from the outside to say, here's what we're working on. What do you think? They don't give a shit what everyone else thinks. Google does that. They said, but the second thing is we're going to roll things out. And they were rolling out Google Huddle and a couple of things at that point in time. I don't even remember what they were. They're like, some of these aren't going to work at all. And we're okay with that. And some of these are going to work, but they're not perfect. And we're going to have to continue to change those and tweak those and grow as we continue to move forward. And that's philosophically what I want us to do. Embrace things. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. Let's be done with it sooner than later, right? Don't keep hanging on to it if it's not working. But trying it is not going to hurt you. But some of these things are going to work. And then you're going to continue to improve them and change them throughout that process. So I want us as an organization, and I would love you as agents to have what I'll call that Google mindset. Let's embrace things. Let's try things versus sitting around thinking about things and waiting for them to get perfect which they hardly ever do. And with that mindset, you're going to pick up some things that that's really going to help you continue to grow your business over time. So with that, questions, thoughts about any of these videos, resource centers, tools that we have the thing about being a network is we have an overwhelming library from the network and internally from ourselves with Explosion and videos we've done of things for you guys to use. So please take advantage of those things. And if you need to know where those are at, grab your Shelley or something like that. So Scott, you were going to run over the listing, you were going to give a listing presentation. Run over the listing agreement. Normal human shoes on.
Look like you're going to church. So there was we can go over some changes in the listing agreement. Then one of the things that happened was in July, the law changed on basically the sale of wholesale properties. Everyone knows what a wholesale property is. Basically, I go and I buy a property from somebody, put it under contract, and then I want to go sell that contract to somebody else, generally for more money. Fred, not a fan. And so what they did is that they thought it was kind of the Wild West out there, how they were marketing these, that they weren't, doing it in the right way, and there was no oversight of them. And so they changed the law, and it says, look, if you want to sell an assignable contract or sell a wholesale property, as they say, from this point forward, you have to use a real estate agent. So because of that, then that required the real estate commission to change the some of the forms, and they changed the agency disclosure form, and now has a little thing on it that says, is this an assignable contract representation? And then they have another clause in there about letting kind of a disclosure form that says, and it gets a little confusing, but if I'm the original seller and I understand that the contract I'm entered into with this buyer, that buyer is going to try to sell that property to somebody else, to assign that contract to somebody else. And it basically says, I understand that the real estate agent who is representing the buyer who's going to try to sell that contract doesn't represent me. It's just very clear. I don't have any representation in this matter. And that it's my understanding that this is going to be sold from somebody else, and that party is probably going to make more money from what I sold it to this original buyer for. And so that's a disclosure form that's in that. So if you were going to do a wholesale, if you wanted to market a wholesale assignable contract, you'd have to fill that out, the agency disclosure, and then this certain other disclosure that would have to be signed by that original seller, so to speak. On the listing contract, you will note that one of the things that changed most, and frankly, the only thing that really changed in it, is there is a new arbitration mediation clause. And the reason that's been changed is because it comes from our parent company, and our parent company keeps getting added to class action lawsuits, and they're trying to prevent that. And so that they have kind of updated the form to make it clearer, kind of take care of the issues that people were using to get out of these requirements that they go into arbitration. And so, yes, it's longer, but now it has a carve out that you can take things to small claims court, which is good because it didn't have that before. Small claims, in Nebraska is up to $3,400 in dispute. So they're saying, look, you don't have to go to arbitration in that, you can go to small claims for that. And so that arbitration clause is just basically changed to make sure that it tightens up the language and makes clear that you have to go to arbitration if you want to get in a dispute with us. And so that's why that's there. Other things that were changed, that clause was added so many pages to the thing that I wanted to remove some old stuff that we don't use any longer. So I removed some clauses about the seller disclosure statement. Well, it's a Nebraska law. You're going to have to fill it out by Nebraska law. Anyhow, there's no reason to talk about it. Seller certification, seller representing us that that the house is in good condition. Well, again, that's a seller's property disclosure statement. Everything I do is to avoid having to talk to other lawyers. And so that's why I removed some of these clauses, because all of that stuff ends up getting negotiated in the final purchase agreement anyhow, and we weren't really filling it out. And so we had a little contract claim in there about us holding the earnest. Well, we never want to hold the earnest deposit. And so why have the language in there? Because we don't need it. So I just removed some clauses that we never use and were never relied upon and weren't used for any good purpose. So therefore I just excise those, because all of that stuff's going to end up being in that final negotiated purchase agreement anyhow. That's about it.
So those are all out there. Daryl, we have all those.
I just want people asking about that.
So the home warranty, I was positive, and they pushed down language from AHS that they were going to make us start paying for listing coverage this year, just because they weren't very happy with it to begin with. They've actually renewed it. So, we'll have it we should have it for the rest of this year too. And all the listing agreement has a blank there that says blank, how many dollars? It's $0. Now that I know that they're going to allow us to continue on, I'll change that language where it'll just say free customary for the next year. If we have to change it, we'll change it at that point. Then it also has a clause if the seller wanted to buy a buyer's policy, there's a blank there. You want to put in what the amount is, basically what they're going to choose. So if you're going to market that it's sold, that here's the AHS policy that they're going to use. The other stuff below it is basically you're not going to use AHS, you're going to use somebody else, or you're not going to offer any listing coverage or buyer's warranty coverage.
That free coverage, again, we were only one of 2 companies in the country that are
Right.
getting that free coverage. So we think that's very valuable that I hope you're using.
Yeah.
I do feel like there's some good news is our rep has continued to be in a Des Moines. I feel like there's been some distance there. We do have a new rep that is started, that's going to be here in Omaha so I hope we're going to get some better service on AHS, but we've really fought to make sure that we do not lose that coverage. Did someone have any questions about any of that? Yes. Start back there and then we'll move up here. Repeat it.
So the question is the wholesale process. And so basically, there are wholesalers all over town, right? That I'll buy your house for cash. Everyone you see where they have the billboard up saying, I'll buy your house for cash. Most of them are either inventorying property that they're going to keep for rentals, or they're wholesaling. They basically think that they can get your property for under market value and then try to sell it again to somebody else. And so the law only kicks in at the wholesale portion, which is, so I can put something under contract, but if I'm not a real estate agent, I can't then go try to market publicly my assignable contract. I don't have the right to go out there and put things on Facebook or social media. That's when Nebraska law now says you have to use a real estate agent to market that, to try to sell that assignable contract. So it's not from the beginning, it's when it comes in the point of trying to sell that contract that I've already entered into. That's when you have to be licensed.
I was gonna ask, so is it the first or the second box for AHS? The second one's worded really good.
Second,
Under the first box, there's 2 options.
one is the listing coverage and one's the buyer's coverage. And so listing coverage, if you want to avail yourself of listing coverage, you're going to put check listing coverage. If you want to buy or offer to buy a buyer's policy for a buyer, which we might want to start doing over this next year to encourage buyers, that's the second box that you would check too. And then you'd want to select what that amount, whatever policy you're going to buy for. Right.
So with going back to the assignable contracts.
Yes.
So I've sat in some of these meeting rooms where, all the investor clubs are, and they will talk in theirs. If it's not being advertised on Facebook or whatever, does it still require the realtor to sell it, to reassign it?
All right.
Is it?
I am not smart enough to figure that one out. Go ahead.
A marketing thing, or is it a law that if it gets reassigned, it has to be?
It's marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very clear that it says you can't market an assignable contract for the product.
Gotcha.
Just like a listing sign a listing contract with somebody, I've got to be licensed. It's the same thing. Think about it that way. To sell a property, I need a listing contract.
Right.
To have a listing contract, I have to be a licensed real estate agent under a broker. And so what they're saying is to sell an assignable contract, to market it in any way, to agree to sell it for them, you have to be licensed to do that and market it.
Gotcha, but I could still go sit in a basement of a bar and say, hey.
Yeah, you could offer it. Yeah. You want to go to the Deja Vu over there and try to sell it, go for it.
Make a statement that's not gonna be very popular. This wholesaling thing to me is the biggest joke it is. Keep in mind, if you as an agent are involved helping a wholesaler, you are part of the problem. You are helping rip somebody off. There's no reason for a real estate agent to be involved in wholesaling. All you're doing is getting a commission check. You got to think about that poor person that the wholesaler took advantage of, told them all the reasons why it's so easy to do this instead of listing with an agent. They're doing exactly the same thing now. They're listing the property with an agent. Why would you want to be involved with someone, to me, that is not, has the client, that person's best interest in mind? To me, as an industry, if you are not excited, or if you don't say anything about this, you are contributing to the problem of wholesaling, people getting ripped off. That's all it is, people getting ripped off. And the Omaha Area Board of Realtors, they're not making a statement. NAR isn't making a statement. We as a company are making a statement. I know there's agents involved in the whole thing in this office. It's shameful. It's shameful.
Yeah. So to Fred's point, and then Heather has a comment. I don't know what Heather don't want to talk anymore. She had her hand up.
Heather was about to jump up here
Uh,
and say that she had some wholesale contracts for sale.
We. Yeah.
We'll talk to everyone later about that.
Put,
Maybe a
we'll
text
put
message.
them in the ring together. We've continued to say, and this is our company policy, right? To Fred's point is, you need to do the right thing, right? You need to be ethical in your process. If you're going out and you're someone that buys houses as an investor, in my mind, you need to walk through this process with them. You need to say, listen, we can sell your house. I'll buy your house today for $100,000 and you do nothing. But I can put it on the MLS. These are hypothetical numbers. I can put it on the MLS and you still do nothing. And we can probably get you $115,000 to $125,000. Or we can fix it up and do A, B, C, and D, and E to it and get us $140,000. My point is, if you're going to do it, in good conscience, I would say if you walk through a process, something like that, saying, here's option A, and where Fred and I don't agree totally is, there may be some people that want to take option A for whatever reason. I don't know why, because if you could list it and sell it for more, why would you not take the extra $20,000, right? But if you walk through that process, I am okay in good conscience that you've done that to them. But Fred's point is, you got people out there dialing for dollars, just saying, let's buy this house, and they're not giving them option B and C. And so that would be our stance. Anyone that asks me, our stance from a company perspective is, I would want you to walk through that process. Do you have anything to say yet? Okay.
I do think that there are people who are under
23, Heather was quiet. Make a note.
I do think that there have been situations, and there were a lot in 2007 and 8, where people were under foreclosure and they were going to lose the property in 2 weeks. And frankly, it's either lose the property or get some money in a quick sale, even though if it's undervalued. But you're still, that buyer is still taking advantage of.
Not the
I
world
mean,
we're in now. So,
yeah.
All right, guys, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so recharge, Omaha Board of Realtors got on February 15th. If you want to get signed up, it's, I think 80.
They can't hear
Oh,
outside.
sorry. The Omaha Board of Realtors recharge event is February 15th. It's about, I think it's $89 to sign up. It's an all-day event. There's breakout sessions. We have some big speakers coming in. I think an astronaut, and Lauren Gion is always there. We have a lot of people from our company in the breakout sessions that are speaking. So get signed up on the website. And I think we have the information on our Facebook page I put on. Thanks.
Okay. Yep, good guy. Were we short of choices last time? Okay. End of the year, had to pick somebody.
Thanks for bringing that up, Denise. By the way, all those marketing things you saw, come to Recharge and there'll be way more, like 10 times more. Oh my gosh. First of all, the good guy award. This is going to be passed on to somebody that many of you in this room maybe took your pre-license courses with this person. This person is a current real estate commissioner. So hopefully you don't see him in that role. And also state president. There's so many things that go on behind the scenes to keep all of us as agents, our businesses protected and our clients protected. Like we just talked about the wholesaling bill that they worked really hard on. And by the way, the commissioner role, that is a paid position. You guys didn't think so? You get $100 a month plus gas. But anyway.
Yeah,
and
you do
coffee.
and pop. And
Yeah. But if
do
you're in
not
front of
touch
the
that
commission, you have to bring your own pop and coffee. They don't let you drink it. Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Anyway, Doug Dosey. You're welcome, sir.
We have 3 hearings this month, so hopefully none of you are going to be down there for it. Thanks, buddy.
Come to Recharge.
Yes, come to Recharge.
Thank you. Jason, I got you for 5 minutes. You want to wrap up? Anxiety went through his face. Guys, thank you for showing up. There's business to be had. The market numbers are down, but we're starting to hear a lot of activity about people getting some listings. Interest rates have stabilized in that 6.25, 6.5 rate. You know, I think it's going to be tough here for the next 3, 4, 5 months with less business being done. But most agents are not out there doing activities to stir up business. Get out there. Let's kick ass. Let's make 2023 the best year ever. Thank you for showing up, guys.